Oh, look at this one, right there, right there. Well, we walked in, this croc couldn't get away. He was in a cove where it came back up around, and he was really in a bad spot. You know, he looked pretty big to me. Was he a 10-footer, 12-footer, 14-footer? I had no idea. It's a challenge to actually get into a shooting position and be able to take a trophy croc.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, here we go.
Take him.
Winchester.
The Nile crocodile, whose eyes are like the eyelids of morning. It is Bob Foulkrod's quest on this safari edition of Winchester Legends to hunt this mighty leviathan.
There he is, coming up again.
Yeah, he jumped in the water, didn't he?
Yeah.
You could see the trail that he left.
I think crocodiles are totally underestimated. They have keen senses of hearing, smelling, and they can feel the vibration as we are moving through this reeds.
I got a mud trail there, but I don't see him at all now. He'll pop up someplace.
We have to get set it up quite far, and if they don't want to come out of the water, we gotta wait till they come at least to shallow water where you can get a decent shot. There's one. There's one. Not a big croc.
It's about like that one down there. It's 7, 8 foot. There could have been 50 crocodiles in there as far as we know, but I mean, you couldn't get up high enough. You'd almost have to have a boat to go in there. And if they did crawl up on land, you wouldn't be able to see them. And unlike game in the brush that you can see and you're stalking and you feel comfortable, you don't step on a stick, you know, don't twist your feet, you know, don't make noise, don't move too fast. Well, when somebody tells you got to do that with a croc, I mean, you almost laugh at them, you know. But they can hear, their eyesight is great, their smelling is fantastic. So you actually have to stalk these things. So it's a challenge to actually get into a shooting position and be able to take a trophy croc. And that's crocodile hunting.
Northern South Africa, on the banks of the Limpopo River, where Bob hopes to find a 12-foot-plus croc with professional hunter Teeny Bamberger of Warthog Safaris.
So now we're back to Africa to knock out another crocodile. First thing we have to do is find some bait.
Me and Bob went out, we saw several impalas. Bob's never shot a real big impala.
Impala is like our white-tailed deer. They're all over, they're fast. We're looking, we're seeing some. We knew some was up ahead, and they would see us and run. Right here, right. Going right through that tree right there. They were going through that opening too fast. I just couldn't get the shot to go off. Almost, that close. Finally, it all came together. We had this one impala, and he was walking up through, and we bumped him, and he ran a little bit, and we ran, tried to get in a position.
Here he is, come. You see him? See him? Finally saw a real nice male, and so we had to run into a little bit of an opening for Bob to get a shot, and he was quick with that tripod of his. There he is, there he is.
I got him.
There he is. When we were waiting and he was in thick brush, and finally he gave him a small window of opportunity. Are you on him?
And he kind of thought he was pretty safe. He's going through some trees and stuff there like that.
Whenever he gives you the shot. You on him? Okay, take him.
Ready?
Good job!
Oh, yeah.
Good job, yes!
Yeah, he was just pounding him down, didn't
Good job! Well done. Put a real good shot on it, a hard shot. It dropped right in its tracks. I didn't think we were gonna get this one. He was
I didn't either. He was spooky. Well, he stopped and he started walking through those trees. That's what saved us.
Luckily, he was slow enough for us, and he didn't pay much attention to us. He was more focused on what the others were doing, and he made a little mistake.
Yeah,
well done.
He thought he was safe in them big trees.
Good
there.
trophy there. Well taken, well taken.
Well,
he's
we
flopping. I mean,
we got some meat for the camp, and we got some meat for our crocodile bait and everything.
and it's a trophy impala, that's for sure.
Let's go look at him. Huh?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Been fighting, huh?
He's been fighting, but I mean, this is an exceptional impala. Real nice, white, beautiful, beautiful old male. You can see look at the characteristics here in the horn, and you can also see his ear. So he had a fight with something. You can see how this
Gouged it right out.
gouged out, and you can see the ear. He's got a little stump ear.
That's a hard combination
Yeah.
to argue against. That old Winchester ammo and that Winchester rifle. Super grade. Isn't that a beautiful rifle? I'm making memories with that.
Congratulations, a nice trophy. This is a gold medal impala you're looking at here.
Yeah, I call them character marks. When you start getting stuff like that, they're nice character marks. So now we got ourselves not only a trophy impala, but now we've got meat for the camp, and we probably got enough food for our couple different bait sites. I'd say with any luck, in a couple days, we're gonna have a whole bunch of action here.
It's only mad dogs and Englishmen who go out in the noonday sun. So Bob Foulkrod and professional hunter Teeny Bamberger find some shade to sit in and plan out their croc hunt.
I thought I saw some bubbles over there. I guess not. It should be sunning themselves someplace. It's pretty hot.
We don't only look for a croc laying on the bank. Sometimes you gotta look where they right in the water.
I don't think we spooked anything. I didn't see any bubble trails or anything.
Looks pretty dead here. Let's go around this corner and see what we'll see.
Many crocs bite if you've got good bait. At least that's the idea as Bob, Teeny, and their team set out a buffet of leg of impala, ripe buffalo entrails, and other delicacies.
When we're trying to bait for the crocs, you want to just create a lot of scent and put a lot of meat in the water. I'm gonna walk to the edge, then tip it over. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Got a real good bait now. One of the hunters shot a Cape Buffalo. Yesterday we got the whole Cape Buffalo's intestines here, and we should be bringing in some decent crocs now. We're gonna be setting up a trail camera. Bob's got one here.
Anticipation. I'd say with any luck, in a couple days, we're gonna have a whole bunch of action here. I'll be the first one to tell you this is not exciting as tracking down lions in the jungle, but it's part of the big 7, so here we are, trying to knock it off. So now we got some bait out there, and we spent some time looking for some crocodiles. We've actually seen some crocodiles where we put the bait out. We just come around the corner to check down there. We've seen, dude, it's 3 crocs that we've seen.
So hopefully all the crocs that we've seen here, we've seen 3, 4 different ones, would all be on the bait.
Our game plan was we was coming back the next morning, and we were going to see if we could get this croc.
Let's get going. Give the place a little bit of time to settle down and see if the crocs pick up the scent of our bait. And we'll come check on it in the morning.
This episode of Training Camp is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend.
What I've got set up here, and I got myself and the grandkids, what we do is I'll be walking up through and they'll say, "Stop, Grandpa." And wherever you stop from, you got to be able to try to shoot all the plates. Some are turned sideways, and some you got to lean, some you got to get down on one knee. So wherever you see them, you got to shoot from. And what it represents is an animal going through the brush, and all of a sudden, there's the hole. You may not be able to see his head because he's in the brush, or his rear end or whatever, but the kill zone is the plate size. So if we're gonna have some fun with the 17 and see what we can do today. Woo! Just got him. Bingo. Now here's one right between the trees. Aha! I'm glad they came out with a 17. You know, these things that we're doing is fairly inexpensive for you to do, and you're gonna email me and say, "Thank you, Bob Foulkrod," because that was cheap to do, and it was fun to do, and the kids loved it, I loved it, And good luck hunting this fall.
This episode of Training Camp was brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Waiting for the crocs to answer the dinner bell, Bob and professional hunter Teeny Bamberger see against long odds if they can catch supper.
What do you do when you're around water? You go fishing.
When it comes to hunting, Bob knows a little bit about it, but when it comes to fishing, he should stick to his day job.
The center of the river separates South Africa and Botswana. And if you threw the bobber, you know, over toward the other shore, I guess you could say you're fishing in Botswana.
You got a fish!
All right.
So the biggest fish we caught was, I think, 5 inches long and wasn't enough for us to eat. You will have to arm wrestle for this one.
Oh man, look at that. When you get ahead of the pH, what's he do? He breaks your hook. And we caught some little fish, you know, and we picked on each other. We need a few more of them before we can throw the hot dogs away. But we're still after that croc.
The next morning, Bob and Teeny check the bait, and the bait has brought in crocodiles. But the ones they spot may still be some distance from keepers.
We went back to check our bait, and some of it was gone, but we wasn't seeing, for whatever reason, on the river as big a crocs as what we wanted to. There's one laying right on the edge. There's one in the water and one out of the water.
These are all small. It's all small crocs. But I can see on the bait, all the small stuff is gone.
That one down there wasn't bad. No, he was probably in that 8-foot range.
Yeah.
The one was out of the water.
But you can smell the bait.
That wind ain't helping anything.
We can go around and see. We can walk that way. I don't see much. I see a lot of crocs. We're looking for something 12 foot plus.
Okay, here we go.
Spot and Stalk is hunting crocs the hard way. But that's the way Bob Foulkrod and professional hunter Teeny Bamberger choose when their bait fails to produce the leviathan they want.
I thought we was gonna see one right there. I thought when I was up on the bank, I looked down there, I thought there was some bubbles, but I didn't see nothing.
Hopefully something will come out. It's real hot.
Normally, regular wet season this one, how high would the water be up?
In our floods, you can see how high the water goes in these banks. It floods all the way. Sometimes the water is over that.
Oh,
I mean, it's very high. The crocs are way more concentrated right now. We should be seeing some. I see some movement there in the water. Might be one that just came up.
Yeah.
See where that water moves?
Yeah.
Something was right there.
Something's going across, and you can see the...
See how it moves, yeah.
Yeah, it's going...
Oh, we have to move on, get to another puddle.
Working their way upriver, Bob and Teeny finally find the genuine crocodile pool they've been hunting for. Now they need to spot one that's big enough and gives them their shot.
I see a lot of crocs. I think maybe there will be something good in there. You know, we've seen a couple 6 and 8 footers. We're looking for something 12 foot plus. Let's see what we can get.
There's one on the bank.
Look, there's more. More crocs.
Oh, look at this one, right there.
Let's see if we can get in a different position from here. Come.
Well, we walked in, this croc couldn't get away. He was in a cove where it came back up around, and he was really in a bad spot as far as getting away a crocodile. But what enemies do they have?
So let's sneak around this edge here, and once we get on the wall, once we get into a position to look over the edge, we have to be very careful. These things has got a real keen sense of hearing, smelling, and seeing. So be very careful when we move up. Be careful on what you're stepping on. They can feel the vibration in the ground.
I really want a pedestal shoulder mount on this croc, but I didn't want to hit him in the back of the head where I had been hitting my alligator and crocodile. Teeny and I talked, and I was going to drop down just into the water, actually shoot into the water and try to break his spine. I know where I got to hit him to do a brain, but a lot of times with this 300 bullet, it really messes him up.
Keep the track of the two horns. It's got the two horns on the back of the head. Go about 3-4 inches down from that, right in the middle of the spine, and it should do it. Let's go.
The Winchester Safari's Magnum rounds that Bob is shooting are loaded with Nosler partition bullets, proven in the field for over 60 years, featuring a partition design, expanding front lead alloy core, and protected rear lead core for delivering controlled massive expansion and deep penetration for all large big game animals, including crocodiles. And now, hunters can enhance their shooting with Winchester's Ballistics Calculator, available online or as an app. Plug in your cartridge, chart its performance, and never be left guessing in the field.
That's a bad angle right there. If we get over there, I can get a lot more angle where I know I can catch a spine.
Let's back up. Go that way around.
Yeah. See if he's there. Yeah, we got a glimpse of this thing. You know, he looked pretty big to me. Was he a 10-footer, 12-footer, 14-footer? I had no idea.
We could judge the croc by looking at the tip of the nose till the eyes, and that gives you a real good idea of the size of the crocodile. So when that all came together, we did see the croc, and Bob said, well, I think I can make that shot. Whenever you're ready. Take him.
Okay, here we go.
Bob Foulkrod and professional hunter Teeny Bamberger must now get into position with as little disturbance as possible to have a chance of making a pinpoint shot before a giant croc can slide away.
A lot of times these crocs are in the rivers and in the dams, and you cannot see all the water. So you don't know whether that croc's going to cooperate, because if you get close, the crocodiles gets alerted by the birds. When they fly up, those crocs know that some kind of a predator are coming. Once you've seen a nice croc, you can try and set up for that croc. You see the two horns at the back of the head? You got to go about 4 inches down, right in the middle of the two horns.
And he just sat motionless with his head out of the water, just sitting there. I kind of went back and forth with Teeny. I said, oh, I sure like him up on the bank, you know. And he said, well, we tried that, you know. I don't think he's gonna, we're putting pressure onto him pretty hard. He'll probably leave tonight. And so we decided to take that shot.
And when you do take the shot, there's no room for error. You have to be precise. It's probably one of the animals that you have to be the most accurate with, because if you mess up the shot, you're gonna lose the croc.
Okay, here we go.
Whenever you're ready, take him. Yes!
Yeah, all right.
Good job!
That's a big old croc right there, isn't it?
Think you just shot yourself a nice croc there, Mr. Bob.
I think so, I think so.
Congratulations. Well done, well-deserved trophy. We've worked our tailbones off for this one.
We hit him almost like a brain shot. I mean, we broke his spine there, and you can see that leg coming up and that tail flopping, and you can see right then the water's not very deep at all. So, I mean, we had a successful shot onto our croc.
He did the perfect shot on it. We would have liked to shoot it on land, but that's the way it goes. I was stressed over this. We haven't seen a lot of crocs over the past few days. It's just becoming our summer. They are just now starting to move. They didn't really want to take the bait because we're just coming out of our winter. They were hibernating. But I think we got ourselves a real good croc.
I'm impressed with this little 375 and the ammo too, because the combination It hasn't let me down yet. It hasn't let me down yet. You can't tell how big he was until they start pulling him out, and then it just takes your breath away. And then when they hang him from the tree, you know, he's right there pushing that 14-foot mark. That's an extremely fantastic trophy and crocodile. It's a big one.
Well, congratulations, Bob. You did it again. It's a beautiful croc you got here.
I'm 6 foot, so you can do the math real easy. You know, he's right there pushing that 14-foot mark.
A very, very good crocodile. You know, they don't get this big anymore.
No, well, it's prehistoric to me. That's an extremely fantastic trophy and crocodile. I'm still pinching myself, you know.
Finally, it all came together. We've checked out a lot of different crocs, and I think we've done well.
We have, yeah, we have.
So he did make a perfect shot, and we were able to recover his croc and got some beautiful pictures, and it was a great hunt.
I don't know for sure. I'm 6 foot, so it's well past my head. So that was our quest for our croc. It's been absolutely fantastic adventure. I have to keep pinching myself every time I think about it. It's been a great adventure.
It was a real honor to have hunted with Bob. He's very knowledgeable. We've shared a lot of hunting stories about all the different experiences that he had in different parts of the country and different parts of the world. I think he lives a true hunter's dream. He's definitely somebody that a lot of young guys can look up to, and he knows his stuff.
Well, I can tell you, Teeny, you haven't seen the last of me, that's for sure, my friend. I appreciate it.